This is Keith Poche's boat right here. Little sneak rig, dude. He stashed it over here at Precision Sonar. So you guys have probably heard there's been a bunch of boat accidents. And I don't know if there's more boat accidents now or if it's just like YouTube and like different like media sources like highlight them. But there's been some bad ones. Like my buddy told me about one on Harris. I actually have footage of it. And the dude literally like went through a no wake zone, speeding, ran his boat in a Toyota Series, dude. Ran his boat over a guy in front of him. Thank God like nobody was seriously hurt. But there's been some insane boat accidents. The reality is that a majority of them, I would say probably like 80%, 70% are people being stupid. Like tournament stupidity, angler stupidity, people stupidity, people not thinking about like what the consequences of driving too fast in like a no wake zone are, or driving out of control when there's a bunch of like side wakes and stuff like that. Just not thinking, dude, not being safe. But the other portion of those boat accidents, they relate to mechanical failures or actually like hardware failures. So I was on Okeechobee once and my buddy actually had, you can see my big beautiful Mercury. He did not have a Mercury actually, he had an Evinrude. Not so great, but he had an Evinrude and the motor actually broke the hardware due to the torque. The hardware was incorrectly and the motor ended up basically in the back of the boat, dude. It released and jumped into the boat. Now that, I mean, any boat accident is dangerous, but that is insanely freaking dangerous because you have a motor that has an amazing amount of torque and horsepower basically jumping into your captain's seat and going, hey, you want to hang out? Yeah, like not so good. Prop spinning and all that. So that's the thing you got to really worry about, especially if you're running stumps, things that can actually impact that lower unit and knock that thing up. So my buddy Jordan from Precision Sonar has been beating my ear off about putting on what they call the leash. And I'm like, bro, I don't know, like I like to get really shallow. I want to trim my motor up. And he's like, bro, you don't got to worry about it. I'm like, I don't know. So what we're going to do is two things in this video. I'm going to show you how to install a leash because I'm actually going to get one. He's converted me. He's like, I can fish in 6 inches of water, no problem. Not going to inhibit me. I'm going to show you exactly what that looks like, but I'm going to show you how to install this thing as well as how it does not impact at all fishing in shallow water. So hit that like and subscribe button for me. Let's put a leash on this beast. All right, so first thing, I'm going to show you what Keith Poche's leash looks like. So this is how it's set up. This is going to be like our outcome. So the first step is trim the motor all the way down, put it on a little wood block like that so the motor has some support. But Jordan, you assured me this is something we can do like at home.
You can do it at home. It takes 10 or 15
You don't
minutes.
need like a motor holder or nothing like
Nope.
that.
Nope.
All right, so we trim it down. What's the next step, dude?
Next step, well, first of all, it's going to come with instructions for you to follow. We've got obviously we'll have a nice install video after this, but the very next step, you're going to take a 3/4 inch socket and you're just going to take one side at a time. You want to loosen these up.
All right, step number 2. What do you got in your hand right there?
You're going to get 2 brackets. These are adjustable. So typically what you're going to want to do, if your jack plate and engine are on, say you're on the 3rd hole,
Okay.
you're going to want to line up your bracket on the same hole. So you want to make sure that you use the same one.
Don't cross the holes.
Right. Yeah. For sure.
So we're basically putting that bracket on. That bracket's going to hold the nut and that for the initial strap. Is that all right?
Correct.
So these are the rest of the parts that I got. I went with blue because space balls, blue balls. I got a thing going with blue the past few years. And then these are the brackets, and then it comes with all the hardware. And basically, we're gonna do this initial strap, and then the secondary blue strap kind of goes around the back of the motor. All right, Jordan, so we're done with step 1. Yep. We got our brackets on there. You got a long dangly cable in your hand. Yep. What are we doing?
So the next step, you're gonna take your main tether here. You're going to take these 2 bushings that come in it. You're going to go ahead and pop those out. There's one on each side. Set them off to the side. Then you can go ahead and trim the motor up. You've got your brackets on. You don't have to worry about the holes not lining up once you get the weight off of it. And what you're going to do, this main tether is going to go right here on a Mercury. You're going to go right between the front side of the cowling and that piece right there.
Okay, so that little spacing between the tilt trim.
You're going to go right through there.
And that way it doesn't inhibit the tilt and trim at all.
Yep.
It's like totally, okay.
Once it goes through, you're just going to leave it there for a second. Then you take
the pretty one.
The pretty one.
Oh, so you're just sleeving it over that.
Just leave it right through.
Okay.
Just like that.
That looks good.
Same thing on each side. Make sure you have about the same amount of slack on each side just to get to your bracket.
On this part, this needs to be taut, right? We're not doing any kind of like extra gap with the blue part, the colored part.
Right.
Okay, so that needs to be snug around the right before the foot of the motor.
Yep, and this is also going to come with, just for, we won't install it right now, but it's going to come with 2 pieces of 3M protective tape. You want those to go right here just to keep it from rubbing.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Next thing you're going to do, you're going to take your 2 bolts, washers, nuts, put some anti-seize on it, and I typically go on the 2nd hole. So
yeah, me too.
yeah, what the different holes are for is slack. So if you feel like you need a little more slack, you can come down a little bit. The higher it is, the tighter it's going to be.
Okay, and so like you got a Ranger. Do you also go on the 2nd hole on your Ranger? Okay.
I always start there just because that seems to be about right.
Okay.
And then if you need a little more, you can always add some. Cool. Tighten those up, and you're pretty much done. That's about as long as it takes.
All right, so now that we got it all kind of mounted up, I mean, you tighten this thing down. You crank it down?
Yep. You want to tighten these about as tight as you can get them on the bracket. So you just want to tighten it, as tight as you can go. It looks like we're there, so I think we're good to go on that side.
And it should still have this little bit of slack in it in that?
It's going to have a little slack in it, not just, to make sure you can get it all the way around, but also if you raise your jack plate up and down, just to make sure it doesn't get too tight on it.
Gives a little play in that. So this is basically our finished product right here. That's freaking, dude, that took like 10 minutes. That was super fast. All right, so now I'm gonna have you test it. Prove to me that I can still run in 2 foot of water.
There you go. Go all the way up.
I'll be.
There you are. Can't even tell it's there. Still got a little bit of play here, but enough to keep it. This is going to be a little tight, but it's not snug to where you're hearing it creaking when you come up.
Yeah, you're not impacting your stuff, but I can trim all the way up and all the way down.
When you come down, it's going to have not enough play on this side to go below here and get into the prop. So that's why we do have different sizes. We've got a 40-inch, that's going to be for your 4-stroke Mercury and Show. We've got a 32-inch, that's going to be for your 2-stroke Mercury, your VMAX Yamaha. And then we have a 44 for the Evinrude E-Tech. That's your sizes. Easy install, up and down, full functionality. You don't even know it's there unless you need it, which at that point you're going to wish you had it. So there you go.
Hope you guys enjoyed this. It's kind of a cool function. I can still fish shallow. Hit that like and subscribe button. I'll put a link to it down in the description box if you guys want to check it out. There's a bunch of different colors so you can kind of match your boat up. Thank you for hanging out with me. We'll be back out on the water talking fishing or trying to whack a stump. Later, boys.